Tutankhamun's funeral mask is, without a doubt, one of the most recognizable and emblematic objects in the world. Since its discovery in 1922 by Howard Carter, it became a symbol of ancient Egypt and the wealth of its pharaonic legacy. For nearly a century, the mask was thought to represent the boy king as we know him, an unaltered testament to the golden age of the Egyptian empire. However, recent studies conducted with high-resolution quantum imaging have revealed that much of what was believed to be known about this piece is only the surface of a much deeper mystery. Subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss any of our videos about the most impressive secrets of antiquity and discoveries that challenge history. Researchers have applied scanning technologies that allow observation beneath the gold surface without causing damage to the object, penetrating to the level of microscopic layers of materials and pigments. These quantum images reveal alterations that are not visible to the naked eye, showing that the mask has been modified and retouched in different periods of history. Scientists found internal layers with metals other than gold, remains of ancient resins, and organic pigments that do not correspond to the original manufacture. This suggests that the mask was deliberately intervened, perhaps to adjust facial details, repair damage, or even to hide information that its creators did not want to be known. Among the most surprising findings is the detection of a ghostly signature, an outline that appears to have been erased or replaced centuries ago. This finding suggests that the identity or representation of the king may have been intentionally altered. Some experts suggest that the boy king Tutankhamun, known for his brief reign and radical religious changes, may have been reinterpreted or even manipulated in his iconography for subsequent political or ritual purposes. The evidence indicates that the mask is not simply a fixed portrait, but an artifact that has been reconfigured over time, maintaining an intact golden facade while concealing secrets beneath its surface. The analysis with quantum imaging also revealed hidden details in the eyes and lips, where layers of pigments were found that should not be there according to known techniques of the time. This demonstrates that artisans applied extremely sophisticated and possibly unknown methods to achieve the final finish we know today. The result is that the mask is not only an object of luxury, but also a testament to advanced engineering and design, combining art, science, and symbolism with a precision that still surprises modern Egyptologists. Another shocking aspect is that the scan detected microfractures and internal repairs that had been overlooked for decades. Some of these fractures could have been the result of the transport and storage in the 20th century, but others appear to be intentional interventions in antiquity, performed to reinforce the object's structure or modify specific details. This discovery highlights that the artisans of ancient Egypt possessed knowledge of conservation and advanced material manipulation, much more sophisticated than official history had attributed to this civilization. The mask also reveals subtle differences in the metals used, with gold of different purities and internal alloys that could indicate distinct phases of construction or later modifications. This coincides with findings from other royal artifacts of the same period, where it is observed that pieces of great value underwent several interventions over time, adapting to religious, political, or ritual changes. The research suggests that Tutankhamun was not just an isolated boy pharaoh, but part of a more complex historical narrative, where his image was carefully managed by successive artisans and kingdom leaders. Quantum analyses have also allowed the detection of organic pigments and traces of resins, indicating that the mask was not only intended for visual appearance, but may also have had an additional symbolic or ritual meaning, possibly related to spiritual protection or the representation of divine powers associated with the pharaoh. This evidence reinforces the idea that the ancient Egyptians possessed chemical and material knowledge much more sophisticated than had been considered possible, capable of manipulating metals and organic compounds for specific and durable purposes. Another fascinating discovery is the coherence between the internal reliefs and the external details, suggesting that the artisans applied a coherent and planned design pattern. AI and quantum scans have been able to virtually reconstruct the internal layers, revealing that the mask's internal structure is designed to withstand physical stresses, protect delicate details, and maintain the external aesthetic intact. This changes the perception of the mask as a simple decorative object, positioning it as a work of engineering applied to art and religion. The findings raise disturbing questions about what historians thought they knew about Tutankhamun's reign. If the mask has been intentionally altered and contains secrets beneath its surface, this could indicate that the king's image was manipulated for political, religious, or even personal purposes, leaving coded clues that only modern technology is beginning to decipher. The confluence of art, science, and mystery turns the mask into an object that continues to reveal layers of information that change our understanding of Egyptian history. The quantum scan of King Tutankhamun's mask has not only revealed superficial alterations, but has also allowed the exploration of the object's internal structure with unprecedented detail. It was discovered that the mask is composed of multiple layers of gold of different alloys, carefully joined to provide resistance and stability. These layers are not uniform. Some show microtextures that might have been intentionally created to disperse physical stresses and prevent fractures from movements of the coffin or the funerary environment. This sophistication suggests that the artisans of ancient Egypt mastered material engineering techniques much more advanced than previously thought. Comment Tutankhamun if you believe there are still hidden mysteries beneath the most famous pieces of ancient Egypt. Within the internal layers, traces of pigments and resins have also been detected, some of which may have had a symbolic or ritual purpose. The analyses suggest that these compounds were not merely decorative, but possibly held a protective or spiritual meaning, intended to ensure the pharaoh's transition to the afterlife. This reveals an integration of art, chemistry, and ritual that makes the mask a functional rather than ornamental object. Research with AI applied to quantum scans has allowed the reconstruction of internal three-dimensional models of the mask, showing an extremely precise construction pattern. Every layer, every detail, and every contour seems to have been planned with a deep knowledge of proportions and balance. Even the holes and cavities that hold glass inlays and precious stones are placed with such accuracy that they demonstrate an architectural foresight that rivals modern engineering. The findings also suggest that the mask was intervened several times throughout history, possibly to repair damage or adjust Tutankhamun's facial features. Some layers show evidence of remodeling that might have obscured the king's original features, raising questions about the intention behind these changes. Some experts believe that the alterations might have been motivated by internal political disputes within the 18th dynasty, or even by religious transformations that sought to reinterpret the pharaoh's image over time. Furthermore, quantum scans have allowed observation of microfractures and internal stresses that coincide with ancient repair techniques. This indicates that the artisans not only created a durable piece, but also developed preventive conservation methods, anticipating possible future damage. The ability to plan interventions that would ensure the mask's preservation for millennia demonstrates a level of knowledge and sophistication that challenges the traditional view of the era. One of the most surprising findings is the existence of hidden signatures and symbols within the mask, barely perceptible with quantum scanning. These might have served as identifiers for the artisans, ritual marks, or coded messages intended to be interpreted only by individuals instructed in the secrets of the temple and the court. This type of information suggests that the mask was not just a funerary object, but also a container of symbolic knowledge reserved for the religious and royal elite. The study has also identified inconsistencies between the metals used in the mask and those found in other contemporary artifacts, which could indicate that Tutankhamun's mask was an exceptional piece, with materials of controlled origin and techniques that were not replicated in other royal objects. This reinforces the idea that the piece had a singular purpose, perhaps related to the consolidation of the pharaoh's power and the projection of his divine image. The precision of the reliefs and the placement of inlays demonstrate an absolute mastery of facial proportions and symmetry, even in areas that we now consider invisible to the naked eye. Quantum images allowed the discovery that some facial proportions were carefully adjusted, probably to achieve an idealized representation of the king, reflecting not only his physical appearance, but also his divine status and the concept of perfection associated with Egyptian royalty. Another fascinating aspect is the evidence of microabrasions and controlled alterations in the internal surfaces, which might have served to modify the reflectivity of light in certain areas of the king's face. This would have given the mask a specific visual effect, possibly intended to highlight certain features during funerary rituals or cult ceremonies, a detail that demonstrates that the ancient Egyptians combined aesthetics, symbolism, and optics in a very advanced way. The findings have also provoked a re-evaluation of Tutankhamun's history. If the mask was intentionally altered and contains secrets beneath its surface, this opens the possibility that other artifacts from the period may have been similarly manipulated. The research is leading Egyptologists to reconsider previous interpretations of iconography, funerary rituals, and dynastic line reconstruction, now based on evidence that modern technology has allowed to reveal. The discovery directly impacts the understanding of funerary art and technology in ancient Egypt. The mask is not just a symbol of wealth or status, but an object that integrates material engineering, chemistry, religious symbolism, and aesthetic perfection, challenging centuries of assumptions about the capacity of ancient artisans. The confluence of modern science, AI, and quantum scanning techniques has allowed the deciphering of layers of information that transform our perception of Egyptian civilization and the legacy of Tutankhamun. Every analysis of the mask demonstrates that, even after more than 3,000 years, the combination of art, engineering, and mystery continues to reveal secrets that change history. The image we all know is just the surface of a much more complex object, and researchers continue to explore how and why these modifications were made, which promises to rewrite our understanding of the Egyptian Golden Age. Share this video with someone fascinated by history and Egyptology, so they can also discover how modern technology is revealing secrets that changed our perception of the past.